Hello and welcome to the tutorial 1 of multi-part tutorial where we'll be installing a CyPerf controller. Let's get to it. CyPerf controllers are available as OVAs that you'll be able to download from Axiacom's download site. We also have several AMIs and CloudFormation templates that you can find in github.com on OpenAxia AWS-CyPerf to install CyPerf controllers in an AWS environment. So I'll really urge you to check out OpenAxia and leverage the CloudFormation templates created by our teams to deploy CyPerf in uh, AWS or other cloud environments if that's what is your motive. In this particular video, we'll concentrate more on the OVAs and deploying CyPerf using an OVA in an ESX environment. So this is my ESX environment. I will start with create register VM. I will go for a deploy a virtual machine from an OVA or OVA file. I will give it a name, like in this case I will call it CyPerf controller so that I can remember it later. I will deploy this downloaded OVA into this into the ESX. I can do that by dragging and dropping it. I'll click next and go on and keep most of these configurations kind of same. I'll keep thick provisioning because I want this controller to run for a long time. I'll set up a VM network. This is basically the management network that it will use to communicate with the agents to ensure that this is something that most of the agents are able to access. With that, I will start deploying it. It generally takes a longer duration. It's a long term, it takes probably around an hour. This OVA has come up, I have straightforward, and it already had a DHCP network, so I already have an IP as you can see here. But for some of your cases, this might not be, and you might have to set it manually. So we'll go through that step as well. So to log in, you have to use first the username console, CONSOLE. So you type it in the login system, and then it takes you to the admin login. So you type admin, and for admin, you have this really long password to make it secured. The password is transportation, understanding, manufacturing, relationship with space between each of these words. So I'll go ahead and type this long password, English password, and I will be, for the first time, I'll have an EULA that I have to go through and accept. So I'll scroll down till the end of this file. I accepted the EULA and I am in. So this is my controller console. You have to type KCOS to get all the options available to you. You see different options from deployment to licensing to networking. The option that I'm interested in is networking because I want to set up the IP address of the management network. So I will type KCOS networking IP show. So I can see that this is my management IP because obviously it had DHCP, so it got that IP. But in this case, if I want to set it, I can do that as well. The command for that would be kcos networking IP set mgmt0 DHCP if it's a DHCP, but if it's a IP, you just say kcos networking IP set mgmt, the IP address slash the subnet mask. These details are also available in CyPerf deployment guides, and you can copy paste this from those deployment guide and set up your management IP for your controllers. The management IP, either got through DHCP or set by yourself, needs to be noted because this IP using https colon slash slash that IP you can use to connect to your CyPerf console. You just ignore the security and you would have access to the console. It takes a few minutes for the application to be up. You can see create new test and browse configs. Now let's do the same for AWS. In AWS, it's much simpler because we have all the CFTs in OpenAxia and GitHub. You deploy the CFT, it deploys all the resources, including controllers, agents, depending on the types of CFT you have used. It can also do communication, NAT gateways, and other kind of resources that you might need. So you can see the middleware, like in a deployed CFT, you see the public IP of this CFT, and same way, just like how you accessed it in ESX, you'll be able to access the public IP through your browser. But in this case, you have to ensure that you have the security groups open so that your browser can access this middleware controller IP and get access to it. So that's it for this training. Thanks a lot for listening.